the time of your diagnosis, we'd very much recommend you try to maintain your cardiovascular exercise levels wherever possible. However, the minimum standards recommended are 150 minutes of moderate activity per week. This can comprise of up to 20 minutes a day if you're just starting out, 30 minutes if you've been active for a little while, and up to 40 minutes 6 times a week if you're an active person already. So now we're going to do our intermediate exercises for post-diagnosis. The lovely Alice is going to model for us today. So we're going to ask Alice to come into a 4-point kneeling position, whereby Alice's hands are stacked under her shoulders and her knees are stacked under her hips. We've got a nice neutral spine position, and for this movement we're going to take the left hand out to the side. We're then going to ask Alice to rotate through and bring the hand underneath, bending the elbow here, and then coming back through and continuing the movement. This speed is perfect. We wouldn't ask you to go any faster. And what we're aiming to do with this exercise is to increase the rotation through the middle of the back, and we should also achieve a nice big stretch through those areas. In terms of repetition, we'll ask you to do 5 to 10 repetitions. You can do little and often or 3 times a day as you feel you need. So our next exercise is called the arabesque exercise. So what we're going to ask Alice to do is Alice is going to stand on one leg, okay? Please forgive any wobbles here. So standing on one leg, we're going to reach the arms out in front, taking the leg back. So we're creating a seesaw maneuver, lovely, keeping the weight in the heel, then bringing the back leg down and bringing the knee up towards the chest as the hands come down. Go again for us, Alice, if that's okay. So we're looking here to make sure the weight remains in the heel, okay? This speed is perfect. You can go a little bit faster as long as you can keep your balance. And we'd ask you to do 10 to 12 repetitions, 3 sets, and that's 3 times a week. To make this exercise a little bit more manageable, you can do this next to a wall, so you can use one hand for a little bit of support, but try not to lean. The aim with this exercise is to work the bottom muscles and the muscles at the back of the leg on the right-hand side. So our next exercise is called the Lawn Mower. For this you can use a small weight or a bottle of water, a tin of beans, whatever you have at home. We've got one foot in front of the other, so whichever foot is in front, you need to have the small weight in the opposite hand. 90% of your weight is on the front leg, okay? And what we're going to ask Alice to do is she's going to take the right hand over her head. She's then going to bring the weight forwards and down towards the opposite ankle, bending the knee, keeping the weight in the heel, lovely, allowing her head to follow. She's then going to drive back up through that heel, bringing the weight up and over her head. Lovely, Alice, do you mind continuing for us? So bringing the weight down, driving through the heel, coming all the way back up. This speed is about right. You can go a little bit faster if you wish to. You don't have to go all the way down if you don't feel comfortable or you feel slightly unbalanced. But the key aim of this exercise is to make the bottom muscles on the left side here work, okay, so to make them feel like they're working. You might also get a little bit of working through the muscles on the back of the leg and maybe at the front. You shouldn't feel any pain with this exercise. In terms of repetition, again, we'd ask you to do 12 repetitions, 3 sets, 3 times a week. And you should be doing both left and right leg. So now we're going to demonstrate our squat exercise. So at home, if you don't have any weight, you're welcome to use a small bottle of water or tins of beans if you have them available, but you don't necessarily need to use weight for this exercise if you don't wish to. So we're going to ask Alice to pick the weight up. She's got her feet shoulder width apart with the feet just turned out around 5 degrees, so very small turn out. She's going to keep the weight nice and relaxed. If you're going to hold on to something, please keep it nice and low. And what we're going to ask Alice to do is sit herself back, so her bottom sits back with the weight into her heel, coming down and then back up. The whole time the weight is just nice and relaxed in her hands, so we're making sure that the knees don't translate forwards over the toes and she's not putting undue strain through her back. We should be feeling that the leg muscles are working here, okay, so through the front of the leg, the back of the leg and into the bottom muscles. In terms of repetition, again, we'll be asking you to do 12 repetitions, 3 sets, up to 3 times a week. You should not feel any pain with this exercise. This speed is also perfect. So this is our heel raise exercise. For this exercise, we're going to show you 2 levels. So Alice is going to stand on a small step, okay, and we're going to have hold of something. So we can support ourselves on a wall or a banister, whatever you have at home, okay? So what we're going to ask Alice to do is gently drop her heels down as far as she can. You might just want to come back a little bit further there, Alice. Lovely, thank you. So dropping down and then pushing up through her toes to bring the heels right up. We're making sure that the body stays nice and still, so she's literally just moving up and down. There's no forwards and backwards movement. She should feel a bit of a stretch in the calf there, so these muscles here at the bottom, but she shouldn't feel any pain. In terms of repetition on both feet, we would ask you to do 12 repetitions, 3 sets, and that's 3 times a week. And we're aiming to make these muscles here feel like they're working quite hard. In order to make this a little bit more difficult, we can ask Alice to go onto one leg. So if you would mind popping onto one leg there for us, Alice. Okay, and then just lifting up, same movement. I would very much encourage you to have hold of something when doing this one-footed. This speed is perfect, no faster. If you're going to progress onto 1 foot, we'd ask you to do 12 repetitions, 3 sets again, as long as you feel able. Okay, so this is our low, medium, high exercise with increased resistance. So we're going to ask Alice to stand with 1 foot in front of the other, okay? She's got a red band which is slightly heavier, again attached to a wall or a pole, a door handle, whatever you have available. The first part of the movement is she's bringing the hands down to where the pockets would be, okay? The second movement is bringing the elbows in line with the body, followed by the third movement, whereby the elbows again are coming in line with the body, not behind. We're making sure that Alice is keeping a nice neutral spine, so we should be working the muscles around the shoulders and maybe a little bit into the lat area. Her head is staying in neutral, and this speed of movement is ideal. So with this exercise, we would ask Alice to do 10 repetitions, 3 sets, and that's 3 times a week.